Imagine two people. Both earn the exact same salary. Both work hard. Both dream about financial freedom. But 20 years later, one is still struggling paycheck to paycheck while the other has built wealth, owns assets, and no longer worries about money. What made the difference? It wasn't luck. It wasn't a higher salary. And it definitely wasn't magic. The difference was simple. One person only saved money, while the other learned how to turn saving into investing. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how that transformation works, even if you're starting with a very small amount of money. By the end of this video, you'll understand why saving alone is not enough anymore, the mindset shift that changes everything, how investing actually works, the safest ways beginners can start, and how ordinary people quietly build wealth over time. So if you want your money to stop sitting still and start working for you, stay until the end. For most of our lives, we're taught one simple rule: save your money. And honestly, that's good advice because saving is important. Without savings, even a small emergency can become a disaster. But here's the problem. Saving protects money, while investing grows money. Many people spend their entire lives only protecting money without ever learning how to grow it. Think about it like this. Imagine you plant a seed but never water it. The seed is safe, it exists, but it never becomes a tree. That's what happens when money only sits in a bank account for decades. Banks may offer interest, but in many countries, inflation rises faster than your money grows. That means your money slowly loses purchasing power over time. 20 years ago, the same amount of money could buy much more food, fuel, education, and property than it can today. Prices rise. Life becomes more expensive. And if your money stays still while inflation keeps moving, you slowly fall behind. This is why understanding investing is becoming necessary for people all over the world. The biggest transformation happens first in the mind. Most people see money as something they trade for survival, but wealthy people often see money differently. They see money as a worker. Every dollar, rupee, or euro becomes an employee, and the goal is simple: make your money produce more money. At first, this sounds strange because we grow up believing that we work for money, but investing flips the equation. Now money works for you. Imagine having hundreds of tiny workers earning income day and night, even while you sleep. That is the power of investing. And no, this doesn't mean becoming rich overnight. Real investing is usually slow, boring, and consistent. The internet often shows luxury lifestyles, sports cars, and people claiming they became millionaires in months. But real wealth usually grows quietly, like a tree. Slow roots, strong foundation, and long-term growth. The people who succeed financially are often not the loudest people in the room. They're simply the most consistent. So what exactly is investing? Investing means putting your money into something that has the potential to grow in value or generate income over time. Instead of letting money sit idle, you place it into assets. These assets can include stocks, real estate, businesses, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, gold, cryptocurrency, or even valuable skills and education. Some investments are safer while others are riskier. But all investing follows one basic principle: sacrificing short-term spending for long-term growth. Instead of spending all your money today, you give part of it the opportunity to multiply for the future. Think about a farmer. A farmer could eat every seed immediately, but instead, he plants some seeds into the ground. For a while, it looks like he lost something, but later, those seeds produce far more food. That is investing. Now we arrive at one of the most powerful financial concepts in history: compound growth. Compound growth happens when your money earns returns, and then those returns begin earning returns too. It becomes growth on top of growth, like a snowball rolling downhill. At first, the snowball moves slowly, but over time, it becomes massive. This is why people who invest consistently over long periods often build surprising amounts of wealth. Not because they were born rich, but because they started early and stayed patient. Time matters more than perfection. And this is where many people make a huge mistake. They wait. They think they'll start investing once they earn more money. But investing is less about how much you start with and more about how early you begin. Even small investments can become powerful over decades because time is the real engine behind wealth. Now let's talk about fear. Because this is where many people stop. They hear words like stock market, risk, crash, or loss, and immediately panic. That fear is understandable because nobody wants to lose money. But there's a huge difference between gambling and investing. Gambling usually depends on luck and short-term outcomes, while investing depends on strategy, patience, and long-term thinking. The problem is that many beginners enter investing emotionally. They buy when everyone is excited and panic when markets fall. They expect instant success, but experienced investors understand that markets naturally move up and down. Think about the ocean. Even the strongest ocean has waves. But over long periods, strong economies and businesses tend to grow. This is why long-term investing often matters more than short-term trading. The goal isn't to predict every movement in the market. The goal is to stay disciplined. So how does an ordinary beginner actually start investing? First, build an emergency fund. Before investing, you should have savings for emergencies because investments can fluctuate, and you never want to be forced to sell during a bad moment just to survive. Once you have basic savings, start learning. Not blindly following influencers or chasing get-rich-quick schemes, but actually learning the fundamentals of money, risk, diversification, and long-term growth. One of the safest beginner approaches many experts recommend is diversified investing, which means not putting all your money into one place. If one investment struggles, others may balance it out. Many beginners today start with index funds or ETFs because they spread risk across many companies instead of relying on a single business. Others invest in retirement accounts, real estate, or small businesses. Some people invest in themselves by learning valuable skills that increase their income over time. The key is simple. Start small, start smart, and stay consistent. You do not need thousands of dollars to begin. What you truly need is discipline. Now let's talk about the mistakes that destroy financial progress. The first mistake is trying to get rich fast. Fast money often disappears just as quickly. When people chase hype, scams, or unrealistic promises, they usually lose both money and confidence. The second mistake is investing emotionally. Fear and greed are dangerous because people often buy when everyone else is buying and sell when everyone else is panicking. Emotional investing usually creates poor decisions. The third mistake is never starting at all. Some people spend years preparing to invest, but knowledge without action changes nothing. You learn by starting, even with small steps. The fourth mistake is ignoring financial education. Schools teach many subjects, but many people never learn how money truly works, and that lack of knowledge becomes expensive over time. The more financially educated you become, the better decisions you make. One of the biggest mindset differences in the world is the difference between consumers and investors. Consumers spend money to impress people, while investors spend money to build assets. Consumers buy liabilities that lose value, while investors buy things that can generate future value. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy life, because of course you can. But financially successful people usually understand balance. They ask themselves questions like, will this purchase help me grow? Is this temporary pleasure or long-term value? And am I building wealth or just looking wealthy? Because looking rich and being wealthy are two completely different things. Many wealthy people live quietly, while many people trying to appear wealthy are drowning in debt. Real wealth is often invisible. It's investments, ownership, assets, and financial freedom. Now imagine your future self 10 or 20 years from now. What would happen if you consistently invested, stayed disciplined, and remained patient? Maybe you gain freedom from financial stress. Maybe you retire earlier. Maybe you support your family better. Maybe you create opportunities your parents never had. That's the deeper purpose of investing. It's not only about money, it's about freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, and freedom from constantly living in survival mode. And the earlier you begin, the more powerful that future becomes. So here's the biggest lesson from today's video. Saving money is the first step, but investing is what helps money grow. Saving gives you security, while investing gives you opportunity. And you do not need to be rich to begin. You simply need to start learning, start small, and stay consistent. Because wealth is rarely built overnight. It's built through habits, patience, discipline, and time. The best day to start investing may have been years ago, but the second best day is today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about money, history, self-improvement, and the ideas shaping our world. And tell me in the comments, what's one financial habit you want to improve starting today? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.